Once you realize that you are prior to and subtler than thoughts, you are prior to and subtler than the concepts that thoughts can project, mind identification instantly dissolves. Today's video is going to help you clearly see that you are already seeing thoughts from a place that is subtler than thoughts. What that exactly means, we're going to talk about, and it is the most liberating aspect of what we will discuss in today's video. It will help you see that you are already in a position of no thought. You are seeing thoughts from a place which thoughts themselves cannot go to. You need not create that. You need not achieve that. You are that. The more you realize that you are that, mind identification starts to just weaken and weaken and weaken. So, we're going to talk about that practice today. And once you start practicing this, it will help you dissolve your overthinking, all your compulsive thinking. Along with that, you will start to feel greater and greater unconditional peace because that which obscures your unconditional peace, which is just the natural state of being, is constant thinking, belief and identification with the ideas that thoughts are projecting. So, greater and greater unconditional peace. And lastly, third, it will help you to start awakening to your true nature. What are you prior to what thoughts tell you you are? What you are prior to all the ideas that thoughts project about who I am, what life is. This is ultimately the purpose of meditation, and we're going to talk about it today in a deep way. If you are hearing this message, you are meant to hear it. So put aside other things for now and watch this video with your undivided attention. It's not just concepts that I'm going to be throwing at you. Because again, when it comes to this practice that we're talking about today, it's not done on the conceptual level. It's not done on the theoretical level. We're going to be talking about things in a very experiential way. I'm going to guide you step by step. Enjoy. So, thought cannot grasp what is prior to it. For example, thought can only grasp or define other thoughts, feelings, and sense perceptions. Notice what they have in common. They are all perceived phenomena, phenomena with distinct beginning and end, definable qualities, characteristics, traits. They are either this or that, right? That's the limitation of objects. That's the limitation of all perceived things. They can be in either this or that. For example, this is a phone, it's not a desk. A desk is a desk, it's not a phone. All perceived objects have a very definitive quality that apparently sets them apart from other perceived objects. This is what creates the appearance of multiplicity, diversity, a million things. So thoughts have only a grasp on the definable because thought is the process of definition. It is the defining capacity. So therefore, they can only define objects. But all of these objects appear in an awareness that thoughts cannot grasp or define because thoughts themselves appear in that awareness. So here's a typo, in that awareness. Thoughts are themselves an object with a beginning and an end in that knowing awareness. Awareness is undefinable or ungraspable at the level of ideas, which is the language of thoughts. So, how do thoughts define things? Through concepts, ideas. Everything thought can say is a concept. Of course, at the level of thought, thought arises in your experience in the language of your region, whether you're from an English speaking nation or maybe one of the European languages or the Asian languages or anything, right? That is the language. But one thing that is common within all of those languages, whether it's English or Spanish or Hindi or whatever, is that even within the language, anything that is spoken is an idea. So really, idea is the language of all thoughts, regardless of the wordful language. For example, right now we're using English, but everything that I'm saying is an idea. I could be speaking Hindi, but everything I could say is an idea. So one thing even all languages have in common is the fact that there is just labels, ideas. And at the level of ideas, awareness is ungraspable. So here's an example that and we're going to talk about how to translate in this into our practice, okay? Just like the eyes cannot see thoughts because thoughts are prior to, subtler than what the eyes can see. And please notice this. Your eyes, they are a great instrument to see visible objects, the objects of sight. Everything you see through the eyes is an object of sight. But how silly would it be if you spend your life trying to see thoughts with your eyes? No matter what you do, you will never be able to see thoughts with your eyes. Thoughts are, in that case, invisible, yet they are there. We do not deny the existence of thoughts. So we do not see thoughts with the eyes because thoughts are prior to, subtler than the eyes. Yet we do not deny the existence of thought because we know thought is there. But we even before hearing this, we wouldn't necessarily go search for thought with eyesight. We know that's a silly pursuit. Thoughts can never be seen at the level of eyes. If anything, thoughts see what the eyes see. If anything, thoughts can describe every object of the eyesight, but eyesight cannot know thought. Just like that, thoughts cannot grasp awareness because awareness is subtler than, prior to what thoughts can think about. Just like thoughts are subtler than the objects of sight, awareness is subtler than thought and what thought can grasp. Yet, just like how you can see the thoughts with eyesight, yet you do not deny the existence of thoughts because you know the thoughts are there. Just like that. Just because you cannot grasp awareness or beingness through some conceptual definition, thought, it doesn't mean you deny its being because you know it's there. It's actually the place from where you see thoughts trying to define you. It is from that position that you see thoughts also as something more gross, dense, perceivable. Yes, thoughts are invisible, but even thoughts are being seen by that which cannot be seen by thoughts. I see thoughts, thoughts do not see me. I am aware of thoughts, thoughts are not aware of me. Matter of fact, thoughts are not aware at all. Thoughts speak, thoughts define, thoughts conceptualize. But all conceptualization I am aware of. All words I see wordlessly. So thoughts can never truly grasp awareness. They can only create ideas about what it is, but those concepts will never be it. Even the label awareness is just a label, which is not actually awareness. Very important to understand that. The word phone is not really this. Just like that, the word awareness is not really the self, is not really that which is aware. This is why often these teachings, we hear this thing all the time. I understand it intellectually, but not at the level of experience. Well, today we're talking about how to experience this. And even that word is, in a way, very limiting. So we'll get to that in a second. But even while we are talking like this, you can feel this out rather than just further thinking about what is being said. If thoughts are arising thinking about what is being said, that's fine, but you can notice that there's a seeing of those thoughts that you are. There is a nonverbal, wordless seeing of whatever thoughts are appearing. You are that seeing. You are not that thought activity. Who cares what thoughts have to say? Whatever they say is being seen by that which I am, by that which is prior to thoughts. To get to know yourself, don't think about yourself. To know yourself, be that which is already prior to thought, which sees thought as an object. The reason this is sticky is because we take thoughts to be what I am. If we keep taking thoughts to be what I am, how can we know what's prior to it? Instead, we need to notice the fact that thought is an object of my seeing. That's why the question is, what is aware of thought? Who am I? What am I aware of thought as? There you won't find anything describable. That is why we can completely let go of needing to constantly think to try and understand what these teachings are pointing to. Thoughts will have you for years believing that more thinking is necessary to understand something. That you don't understand this talk right now and you need more thinking about this so that you can understand it in the future. Or that you need this experience or that experience in order to understand this. The degree of which you believe in that content of that thinking that is arising, to that degree, thought continues to make us play these games. But instead, if we practice the very thing we are talking about now, which is whatever thoughts are saying, is already seen by myself which is prior to, subtler than thoughts. I am already in that position. What is there to understand? The self that is aware, I cannot understand. I can only be. Because no thoughts about it are true, there is no need to think about it. Yes, we have these conversations to point to that fact. But at the level of our practice, thinking about ourself is not necessary. Thinking about this teaching is not necessary. Thinking about who am I is not necessary. Instead of thinking about awareness, be the awareness which you already are. Thought says, oh, what do I do to be awareness? Yet even this thought, you are aware of. As what? As the awareness you seek to be. Simply let go of this assumption that you are this thinking. Simply let go of this assumption that you are this body. These are also assumed ideas. These are also thoughts, which are just taken for granted to be true. And lastly, Notice that you are aware of all experience, including the body and mind, from and as awareness, here and now, not later, not after 10 years of meditation, here and now. A better question than how do I realize myself is why do you take yourself to be the mind and body? That's what experience appears to be. And it's a very compelling story. And of course, that's our conditioning. But when you come to this space, all of these assumptions will be exposed. What we take for granted in day to day life here has to be exposed because those very basic, obvious assumptions are the root of the greatest misunderstanding that is the source of all suffering. So at the end of the actual post, I said, what are you prior to and subtler than thought? When this question is posed, whether it's you who yourself posing that question to yourself or it is being said here to you, what are you prior to and subtler than thought? Don't let thought answer the question. The question is not to be followed by an answer. It's not to be followed by another thought. The question is merely there to point oneself back to being oneself without harboring ideas of what one is. The question is there to point oneself to awareness of one's own being. I am. Not I person am. I, that which is aware, am. Wordless awareness of the fact of one's own beingness. The point is to feel these words out, meaning see what they are pointing to, you know. That is the greatest advice anyone can give us about these teachings is like, let's feel them out, see what they're pointing to rather than thinking about what they're pointing to, thinking about what is being said, thinking about how it is logical or how it fits into our worldview. It doesn't fit into our worldview. How can it fit into our worldview, which is I am a body and mind? That's why we struggle with these teachings. We are constantly trying to take these teachings, which are the complete destruction of our worldview. We are trying to reconcile them within the context of our worldview. And that's why we constantly feel like struggling and it's too subtle. Yes, it's subtle because it's outside the sphere of our worldview. It's something that we cannot yet see. So, how do we see? How do we expand the confines, the boundary of our worldview? How do we start to glimpse beyond what this elastic ball of concepts that has entangled me? Meditation, being oneself, being as you are. So, just one last visual I would like to share with you before we can begin our discussion on this or anything else. So, these three layers, the outermost is the realm of material objects. You can also call it the realm of the five sense perceptions. The outermost layer is everything you can see, hear, taste, touch, smell. The eyes cannot see what is subtler than what the eyes can see, right? So the second layer is thoughts, sensations, emotions. Call it mind. It's subtle, right? It's invisible. Eyes can't see thoughts, sensations, emotions. Ears can't hear thoughts, sensations, emotions. The tongue can't taste thoughts. The skin can't feel emotion, right? Emotion is subtler. So, just like that, thought cannot know. Thought is the process of conceptualizing, of idea making. In that post I made, I called it the factory of idea making. So, thoughts project ideas about things. They project ideas about what the sense perceptions see, and they project ideas about thoughts themselves. It can get so dysfunctional that thoughts can start to produce ideas about the ideas projected by thoughts. And that's how we get so far off in delusion, in illusion. It's just like an imagined world within an imagined world within an imagined world. That is the bondage that thoughts have the capacity to create if believed in, if identified with. So thoughts can only define and grasp knowable objects, objects of the sense perceptions and sensations, emotions, thoughts themselves. But there is a subtler layer than even the mind. And this we can feel in our experience as presence or beingness, the felt sense of existence. I am, or simply I, or being aware. This is not an object, and this is not a thing to be known. Just like you can see a thought come and go, you will not see presence come and go. Just like you hear the sound of my voice arising and passing in your experience, you will not see presence arise and pass as an object. The presence changelessly accompanies all changeful objects. All changeful objects are like appearances on the screen of presence. I know over here I made presence into like a subtler layer, and from here you see everything that is changing. Right over here, material world's changing, mind changing. In your actual experience, this isn't like in any particular location. It is almost like actually just like look at the screen that you're looking at this meeting on, at this talk on. The screen is the changeless background on which there's images appearing. Right now, it may be the Zoom window and my face and my moving body and the appearance of other members here. Later, that image will change into a YouTube video, or later, maybe a movie, or later, the school app, or whatever, or work. So, look in your screen, the scenery is constantly changing, but the scenery is constantly changing on a changeless screen. My face on the screen may be here or there. And if I'm here on the screen, then I can't be there. But the same limitation of location doesn't apply to the screen. The screen is just everything, everything and everywhere that any of those images are. And just like if you play a video of a burning fire on your screen, it's not like your screen burns down. You may watch a very violent movie with explosions going all in a war zone, but it's not like your laptop blows up, your screen blows up. Just like that, presence or beingness is the unaffected, unchanging, undisturbed screen of what we call all experience of life as we know it. And that is the hint of our true identity, because this presence is the light of the eternal self. This is the beingness of the eternal self. This is the presence of the eternal self. It is the greatest hint of truth in illusion. This now. What is this now in which all of life happens and passes? You are not any of these images, including the most intimate things you take yourself to be, such as your personality, your belief system, your face, the body, thoughts. All of these are just images on the screen of presence. You are not that. Good news is you are already this. So our meditation practice lies in discerning between myself and all changeful objects. That's why we say whatever you perceive to change, you cannot be, because what you are does not change. I am is the changeless fact of your entire waking life. Discern between I am, but discern between presence and all experiences. All experiences are being seen by that which is subtler than it. All thoughts, if we are just to talk about on the practice level, if we were just to talk about thoughts, because when you sit down to meditate, the main thing we struggle with is thinking. The main thing we have to discern between is myself, or my awareness, my beingness, and thoughts. Thoughts come and go in my seeing. You are already aware from this, as this. This is not a body. You are not aware as a body. Look, the body is over here. The body consists of these two layers that you are aware of. The body is an experience that you are aware of. Thoughts are an experience. Thoughts and all the ideas that they hold about who you are, your face, what you've been through, your story, what you like, don't like. All this is encompassed in thoughts. And these thoughts, there is awareness of. Your true identity is nameless, formless, shapeless, not limited to objects in time and space. Throughout the 10-week course that we have, the main aspect of it is to point ourselves back to noticing this. The more we notice this, the more we notice I am this, because it is from where I know all experience, even now. Naturally, the identification with all forms starts to diminish, especially thoughts. So, enough thinking about oneself, enough thinking about, enough trying to think into spiritual progress, spiritual growth. Meditate. Meditate means be yourself. Be aware of yourself. Be present. When you are present, you are this. In that very moment, identification with the mind and body ceases for that moment. until we once again start to think. The moment we catch ourselves, simply return, become present again. Be aware that you are. Be aware that you are aware. This hypnosis of mind identification, of body identification, has a certain momentum. Don't fight against that momentum. Simply dissolve that momentum by again and again, whenever you notice, simply return to noticing what you are. Be present. Be yourself. Stop looking in time, in the future, for some sort of self realization. Stop looking towards experience for some sort of spiritual salvation. It's not coming. Now is the window to truth. Mind thinks in terms of time and space. Mind thinks in terms of achievement and what can happen. That whole paradigm has to be left behind if we want to grow in this. Here, now is all that matters. And in now, there is no room for concepts. Because concepts is the introduction of time and space. In the absence of concepts, all that remains is that which is present here and now. I hope you enjoyed that talk. Put it into practice. Make sure you are sitting in meditation twice daily. Set a time aside for it. Set time aside for it. Go into your room, close the door, away from everyone and everything and all your devices, and sit for 20 to 30 minutes with your eyes closed and pay attention to your being. Be aware of the place from where you are aware. Be aware of being aware. When thoughts come, that's okay. But instead of just being so interested in thoughts and what they have to say, bring your curiosity to where you see thoughts from. What knows the arising and passing of thoughts. Keep directing your attention, your noticing, back to yourself. Stay with I am, awareness of being. Practice this. There's no getting better at this without practicing this. There's no getting better at this without setting time aside specifically for this. Stop thinking to yourself, oh, I'll do this while I'm walking, when I'm painting, when I'm writing, when I'm working. That's all good as well. You can do that as an addition to your meditation practice, which is your foundation. The sit down meditation practice becomes the foundation upon which your entire rest of your spiritual practice is built, and without which you will not have enough awareness, presence to be able to practice throughout the day, to be able to practice through the difficult periods of your life where practice is needed most. So don't run away from the practice. Don't run away from the sit down meditation. There are too many people in spiritual circles who are obsessed with the theoretical side of the teaching, but they don't practice, they don't meditate. Don't be one of those. If this message resonates with you, sit and practice every single day, twice per day. Consider it your appointment with the self, with the true self, with God. And along with that, then you can bring that practice more and more into your day as well. 2 times per day, you sit in silence with it, closing your eyes, withdrawing from everything. And then in the midst of your day, you try to do the same practice, not different. You're not being given too much to do. It is very doable. You just have to be willing. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know below what you thought of today's video. Make sure to join our free self-inquiry community to connect with fellow seekers of truth. Over there, you'll also be able to access my free self-inquiry mini course and my self-inquiry PDF guide that will show you how to practice step by step. Alternatively, if you are looking to work directly with me to dissolve mind identification and awaken to your true nature more deeply, consider joining Self-Inquiry School. In the school, you will embark on a 10-week meditation journey where I will guide you day by day deeper into the experiential recognition of your true nature. Throughout your course journey, you'll be supported by weekly Q&A meetings, guided meditations, and live online retreats. Everything is included under one membership. You can find the link in the description box below and learn more.